Well, behind me, this is not actually a screen. This is what my room has turned into now. Remember when we did that episode with Zeus and he said
Yeah.
it was Sanford and Son? So this isn't a background. That's actually my room I'm in. Um, how are you doing, Desiree?
Okay, it's fucking cold.
This is special too. Look, see, still got the old tagger on it. See, never even played it. See,
You just bought it?
don't touch it.
I,
Don't
well,
touch
I
it.
wasn't
No
gonna, I wasn't gonna touch it.
No, don't touch it.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point even.
Don't
It
even
can't-
point?
No, it can't be played. Never. I mean,
Can I look at it?
No, no. You see it?
Don't-
Hello, and welcome to the Friends of Zeus podcast, episode 209, I believe.
The Friends
Um,
of Zeusless podcast.
yes, another Friends of a Zeusless Friends of Zeus podcast. Um, tonight,
Zeusless, a podcast.
Zeus, Zeus less
Zeusless,
colon.
a
Oh,
podcast.
okay, so not Zeus without a colon. All right,
No, you need that to live.
you need that. Well, however you say it, welcome to the Friends of Zeus podcast without Zeus, episode number 209. And tonight, we were thinking we would talk about collections. And these are not people that are calling you to try to get money. We're talking about collections that people gather amongst themselves, hummels, Star Wars figures, etc. Things that people like to collect, and sort of like the oddities of these collections, the psychology behind it. What do you do with collections when someone dies? Whatever, like anything having to do with it. So we'll see where this goes. Just kind of a topic I've been thinking about, and I'll get started just with a brief intro and the reason why I thought this would be a good topic to get into. Um, just a really brief story. I have a friend of mine. He died. Let's see, 2011. What was that? 14 years ago. He was an older gentleman. He was in his 60s, and he was an avid collector of 35 millimeter and 16 millimeter film, and had been collecting. I
Film
don't
or
know,
cameras.
film like motion picture film.
Okay.
Yeah, like for movies. He was a projectionist. That's how I met him.
Mm-hmm.
He's anyway. So he'd been collecting probably since the 50s or something like that. He was born in the 30s. So and he was very eclectic. He had collected a lot of nitrate film, and for those of you who may not know what nitrate film is, films that we saw growing up in the theaters were safety film. But before safety film, they had nitrate film. And nitrate film was beautiful and it had a lot of contrast with colors. The big downside was it was extremely flammable. It would if you lit it, it would almost explode. It would go up like magnesium strips would go up. So it was very dangerous. If you had any nitrate film in your house, you couldn't get homeowners insurance. Theaters, the I worked in various old theaters, and the projection booths. The little portholes that people would look out. Well, they had metal plates that could close in case there was a fire in the booth, and there was a chain that would hold that plate up, and there was a link in the chain that was made of very soft lead, so that if there was a fire, it would melt and it would shut it down. And the doors were fireproof. And if you were a projectionist, you're pretty screwed. And also in a lot of these
Be like a
theaters,
little chamber, basically.
yeah, you were
That's
incinerated.
that's kind of diabolical.
Yeah, you would just be ashes. But next to the projector, there was usually a little chain or a string that had scissors on it, because if a fire started, you would uh, cut the film from the feed reel so that it would, you know. Anyway, we're getting along. That doesn't really matter. Anyway, he had this amazing collection, and I'm talking about um, prints of movies that were one of a kind, uh, prints of movies that were almost priceless, to the point where he had multiple warehouses. He had the entire basements of homes that were filled with cans of this stuff.
Mm.
He passed away, and he was single, never married, no children. And the collection went to his brother, his younger brother, and his younger brother recently, unfortunately, passed away. And a good friend of mine, who was also a good friend of these two guys, contacted me a few weeks ago and was like, I, we don't what we I don't know what's going on with this collection, right?
You want this shit?
I no, you would never want it. It's too much of a liability to have. But my point is,
That'd be like
not
really valuable, right?
it is. It's extremely valuable. Um, but the thing is, it's also a liability, you know. And there's also a lot of issues regarding the copyright ownership of some of these prints, you know, that the studios may come after you and try and get them back if they knew that you had them. But that aside, I mean, that's an interesting topic. But it got me thinking about collections in general. In other words, this man who's a dear friend of mine spent almost his entire life putting this collection together, and now no one knows what to do with it. Like, what do you do with it? And I, at the same time this was going on, I've been cleaning out a storage unit that I had, and I came upon these boxes of 19th century American coins and some, other world coins that my grandfather left me. And, it's not, I wouldn't say it's super valuable, but whatever. I mean, I'm kind of going through it now. But on one hand, I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. It's cool to look at it, but there's also a responsibility that comes with it because now it's like, what the hell are you going to do with this stuff? You're not going to go to 7-Eleven and give them a, 1848 silver American dollar coin. You're not going to spend it. You got to do something with it. Um, and I was like, I mean, coins are interesting to me, but it's not my jam. But now I've got this obligation that I got to deal with it. And my first thought is like, well, I'll just keep it and give it to my daughter. She's not going to want to deal with it. I mean, I'm just going to put it off, for like another generation. Um, so it got me thinking about why do people collect things? It's definitely, I think it's a human trait. It's pretty, I think there's people that just collect stuff and it's a very natural thing. I looked up online just to get some basic information. And there's some scientists that say that, human beings or Neanderthals or, primates have collected things on Earth for 100,000 plus years. Some say, well, it only goes back 3, 4, 5,000 years. And when I say collecting, I mean collecting things that aren't practical. In other words, you're not collecting food to save for the winter. You're collecting things because they're kind of cool looking or they're neat, little baubles, little stones, whatever. Um, but it just got me thinking, like, why do people do this? And I made a list of loved ones and friends, and probably about 50% of them I could name you things that they collect or have collected. That some are esoteric, some are very straightforward. But it just got me thinking, like, why do people do this? And I look back on my own past. I don't really collect anything now, but I certainly have, throughout my life. Um, so I get it. But anyway, I just thought it'd be an interesting topic. I was gonna throw it out to you guys, and we'll see where we go.
Yeah. I mean, I would bet all of us have a collection of the quarters, when they started putting like the state logos on
Yeah,
each quarter.
Yeah.
I
Did
used to.
you
I don't
fall
have
for
it
that and
anymore.
start
I'm
collecting
pretty sure
those?
I spent those.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they had the states and then they had like the state or the national parks and then they had like flowers or they had something else because they're still to this
Yeah,
day
they
there's new
started
shit
getting
that comes out
carried
of
away. At first, it was just like
yeah.
each state, and then they
Hmm.
started coming up with all these other different things, and it was like,
Yeah,
okay,
but do you remember when you would go like to the pop machine and put like your dollar in there and you'd get a quarter back and you're like, oh, I want a state quarter.
check.
It was so fun.
Right. There's
Yeah. This.
something about that. I mean, it's like they tricked us because everybody went for it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For some reason. We don't know why. We were all collecting these things, but there was something about it that you just had to start. You had to have like every one.
And they're
Beanie
still
Babies.
doing it. Oh, Beanie Babies. That's a great example. Yeah. It's like, is it? Yeah, I mean, it's like Beanie Babies. It's like arbitrary scarcity, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, artificial scarcity.
Yeah, and somebody made up the lie that they were going to be worth so much one day. I don't,
There are
which I
people that
think that
sank
even,
their life savings into
oh
Beanie Babies.
yeah. Dude, I think that there might be like eight. Like the original eight might be worth something now.
Hmm.
But that's it. They
Well, that's the thing. So, I mean, like this coin collection I've been dealing with, yeah, I've got like hundreds of pennies from the 1800s, many from like Civil War era, and it's like, wow, these have to be valuable. But the initial value was a penny. So like even if they go up in value by like 300%, right? It's still and even accounting for inflation, most of them are worth anywhere from like 5 to like $30, which is cool, whatever. I mean, but they're not like thousands of dollars because even if you have something that is old, it's not pennies weren't scarce, right? There were
Mhm.
millions of pennies. And Beanie Babies, even if you have a particular one that is quote unquote rare, it's really not. They probably made like 50,000 of them, of the rare ones.
Well, what they said was they only made X amount of them when they put them out. I don't know. That's just and then there was
Yeah,
like if their tag was different or if they fucked up somehow on the stitching, like those ones would be worth money.
yeah.
But or
Well,
like the beans, little pebbles in them.
oh,
Like
what?
some of them had different pebbles than or
Really?
little
I didn't.
yeah, like I don't remember what it was, but the bean part in the Beanie Baby
Right.
is different
I
in some
never
of them.
even thought about that. I mean, there's some people and self included, because I'm no judgment here. I'm not judging anyone for collecting stuff, but there's some collections where people are doing it for financial reasons. And a lot of people that were into Beanie Babies, when those were huge at that time, I was really into antiquing. I liked going to antique
Mm-hmm.
shops in like Pennsylvania and
I
Eastern
love
Shore, of
antiquing. We're
Maryland.
gonna get in that conversation here in
Yeah,
a minute.
that is totally part of this. And and there were certain antique malls that would have a Beanie Baby display, and we were always like, yeah, whatever, man. I mean,
Mm-hmm, hmm
but there's certain people that collect things for they say financial reasons, like, oh, I'm trying to get in low part of this market, I'm gonna sell high. It always seemed kind of crass to me, that level of collecting, but there's also people that are just they're just into this certain thing, and it doesn't even matter what the value is, like they just want, that certain thing or whatever. I mean, obviously there's a
That was
million
never the answer for Beanie
reasons.
Babies. Never. Nobody was
No,
like, I just like them.
they were trying to make money. They thought it would be valuable, right? Wouldn't you say? I
Yeah,
mean,
I guess. I think that's what the
did you
farce
see them
was.
in antique store like you said about antiquing? I mean, have you obviously you've been to
I
like
think every antique store that I've been to ever. Well, that's not true. So there's some that is like the whole store is like a store, but then there's some that there's like booth rental you can tell.
hmm
And usually in those ones you can always see like there's one booth that's like toys.
yeah.
And it's never organized. It's just shit in there. And it's like
Yeah.
old board games, beanie fucking babies, especially the teeny bitty babies, McDonald's toys,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And and it's like every time you go into the same store, you never see anything sold out of it. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. They'll always like Star Wars figures. I mean, there's nostalgia
Mm.
and and I guess value for ones that are never opened, but again, they made so many of them. It's
Do you
not a scarcity thing.
think back to when McDonald's was selling them teeny beanie babies?
Teeny
Do you
beanies.
remember? Yeah, the
I
teeny beanie
do.
babies. Do you remember how crazy it was?
Yeah.
Dude, it was
I
crazy.
don't remember that.
And it's McDonald's, and so there's 100 bazillions of these things.
Hmm
It's almost like a irrational fervor.
And then but they would only release them. It's like there were millions
What?
of that would release them like a week at a time.
Yeah.
That was the scarcity part of it.
So
Crazy.
what do you think it is about um humans that why do people collect things? would you say? Like, what's
Well,
the
I think
reason?
there's a lot of different types of collections out there. Like there, let's take Beanie Babies for example. I think that type of collection is FOMO. You know, you
FOMO.
gotta have
Okay.
it. I mean,
Oh,
they're $4, or they weren't even $4. I gotta go buy me five of them teeny Beanie Babies because if I don't, I'm not gonna have any. Fear
yeah.
of missing out, FOMO.
Oh, fear of missing out. Okay. I was thinking of F around, find out. FOMO. Fear of missing out.
FOMO,
Yeah.
fear of missing out. Or like people that collect like, I don't know, like purses or some shit. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe there is some
Shoes.
people that, or
Shoes.
shoes. Yeah. I think
I
that's a FOMO thing, honestly.
I have been into now, I work in high-end remodeling, so I've been in a lot of ladies' closets. And I
Mhm.
had to preface it because I didn't want to just say I've been in a lot of ladies' closets.
You've been in a lot
But
of closets, just
I've
say
been in
that.
a lot of closets and I have seen
Have you come
ladies.
out of a lot of closets?
No, no, just well, yeah,
Have
maybe
you snuck
once.
out of a lot of closets?
Yes, all
Have
the
you
time,
hidden in a lot of closets? I have a
many
funny story
times.
about that. Maybe I'll
But
tell you guys later.
But I have seen closets that, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm talking like 300 pairs of shoes. Like I've seen that with my own eyeballs. Like not once, not twice, dozens of times.
And it's
And
like for that, is it considered a collection or is that just an obsession?
I don't know, right? That's what I'm
Well,
saying. What
when does
is
it
it?
cross over from hoarding? Because maybe they just don't want to
It's
throw
like
anything
specific
away.
hoarding.
Nobody needs 300 shoes, pairs of
And
shoes.
and
Because
these are in
No one.
boxes? No, no.
I
Like,
think in
okay,
my
Air
books,
Jordans, like, or Air Force Ones, people would collect those, those shoes.
Yeah, and
They never
look,
wear them, never wear them.
sneakerheads,
Maybe
right?
once.
Isn't that what they call them? People that
Sneakers,
collect
yeah,
sneakers?
yeah, I think sneakers would be a collection, but I think like women with their millions of shoes, I don't think that's collection.
Imelda Marcos. You think that's hoarding?
I think that's just
Is it, but
overconsumption.
is there like a fear of like I don't want to have to go to an event and not have the right pair of shoes?
I
Like
think
is
that,
it a
yeah,
fear? Is it fear that drives
I
it?
don't want to I have to have the right pair of shoes. I have to always look the best with my shoes. I have to, I mean, whatever. I'm not a shoe person.
I'm not either.
yeah.
I literally have
And
like two
again,
pair
no
of shoes
judgment.
to fit like not two pair of shoes ever, but a
Yeah.
couple of pair of shoes to fit an occasion. I got a couple winter boots. I got a couple sneakers. I got a couple,
Yeah.
things like that. But I don't.
Well, there's some things you
Mm-mm.
just don't throw away. Like I was thinking of like books. So after you
Mhm.
read a
Ah.
book, do you throw it away? Because I just like put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
I get another book, I read that, I put that on the shelf. So is that a collection or am I just, what am I doing there?
That's a great
Well,
question.
but a book can be like read.
Well, I
I
don't
wouldn't
typically
reread a book,
reread them.
but
Maybe, I mean,
Once in a
rarely I'll
while.
reread them, but usually I just read it once and then it sits there
and
forever.
for 10 years until you take him to Goodwill.
And I
Have
don't
you
even
got
do that.
have you guys ever been
Box them
involved
over.
with cleaning out someone's house after they died, or they're cleaning out a
Mhm.
house for a relative
Yeah.
after they
Mhm.
died who had things that were very important but just kind of ended up in a dumpster?
Yeah.
I
Too bad.
have,
Yeah.
unfortunately. It's kind of depressing
You
actually,
feel bad. Yeah.
and you feel bad. And
They cherished it, but
but did
they're the
they
only
cherish
ones.
it? That's my question. Like, did they cherish it, or and like, and here's the other thing: is it the process of collecting? Is it the process of getting it that's feeding
So,
the
yeah, so
thing?
back to collection types, there's the FOMO,
Yep.
then there's the nostalgic. So like people that collect like classic cars or like and they restore them. Or people that collect like old like toys from their childhood or like
Hmm.
so like that.
I
I
think
think
it
that would be
happens by gifts. So, because once you're known as like, so I had this friend that liked Betty Boop. So she had like a few Betty Boop things. So everybody knew that she liked Betty Boop, and whenever her birthday would roll around or Christmas, people would keep
Mhm.
getting her Betty Boop stuff.
Yeah.
The next thing you know,
Yeah.
she's got an entire room full of Betty
Yeah.
Boop.
My
Yeah.
She
grandma
didn't
had
really buy
Maryland
all of
room.
it, but
Yeah.
that was what she was known for. And there's other like examples like that, but that's, I mean, sometimes the collections grow because of that.
And it takes on a
Yeah.
life of its own, right? I mean,
But was she like, this is too much Betty Boop shit? I gotta give her some.
You almost
Or
don't
was
want
she,
to
or did
tell.
it genuinely make her happy? Because I think that's another kind of collection. Like it
Well,
just makes you happy. It
she
makes
would
you smile.
display it, but maybe that's just because people gave it to her, so she had to put it up so that when they came over, they would see that she
Mm.
cared that they gave her something.
Yeah.
But maybe that made her happy that she could. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
That was one of the things I was going to bring up. It's almost like there's different types. I had a older lady that I knew that and she told me the story. I wasn't alive for the beginning of it, but she somehow I don't know what it was. She ended up with some owls, like little owl like salt and pepper shakers or something. I have no idea. And it was like what you were saying. She had a birthday, and someone was like, "Oh man, this lady, she likes owls," and
Right.
they got her
But
out.
you would see
And
it in the store. You would think
fast,
of
you
her
think of
putting it.
her, and
Yeah.
fast forward like 40 years. For years, people had just given her all this owl shit. So she had all this owl shit, and to her, I talked to her about this. This was like 25 years ago, and she's like, "I don't even know how it started. Like, I don't even know how it started." But she's like the owl
Do you
person.
even like owls?
I don't think she. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, I see it, and you know this, Desiree. And again, I don't know if you go to antique malls, Tom, but I know Desiree has seen this if she's been to antique malls. Salt and pepper shakers, man. There's
Mhm.
always
Yeah,
the
my
booth
yeah.
of people that have salt and pepper shakers, and they have every
Hmm.
salt and pepper shaker you've ever known in
Which
your
salt and
life.
pepper shakers can be cool.
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
think I would form a collection of them.
yeah.
I just don't.
Well, it's.
I don't need to be that salty. I'm already salty enough, guys.
I mean, just to be a little bit throwing myself under the bus, when I was looking back on my life with collections, there was a time, mainly when I was in high school and college, and like right after college, maybe for a few years, where I mean, I've always been into music, but I was into not the music, I was into the physical CD album of music. So it was sort of like I like listening to it, but this collection had to do with like the 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 artifact, right? The CD, the album, the
Yeah.
45, whatever. And for some reason, I found out that I was a completist. Like that was my um section
Yeah.
of psychosis. So I really liked REM. Well, I didn't just have to hear everything they had recorded. I had to own everything they had
Mm.
recorded. I bought that. I found this other guy when I was in college who had collected all this REM vinyl from the early 80s when they were first starting. And he was like, "This is stupid." He had gotten married. He's going to have kids. I bought his entire collection. So, and I still have it in addition to like
Well,
all the other crap I had. And I'm like, you can just stream these songs. Like, you don't need the box, right? You don't
yeah.
need the thing. But I went through this time where if I liked the band, Nick Cave or the Pixies or
Mhm.
anybody, I had to own everything they ever
Well,
did,
you're
including
lucky it wasn't
B-sides.
Kiss
I
because
know because Kiss is like
Kiss
everything.
makes every
You'd
product.
have a kiss room.
They
Yeah.
feed into it. Well, luckily I didn't get
And
into
how
the
many greatest hits
merchandise.
albums?
I stayed with the
The
music, but
companies keep
still,
coming out with these greatest hits albums. You have to buy like each one if you're compelled to do that. And you have like 300 greatest hits albums.
yeah. Well, I luckily I grew out of it, but I get it. I mean, I remember the feeling of going into a record store and seeing a single that was like from Australia that had like a different B-side, and I was like, I gotta have that. Like I remember that
The
feeling.
completest piece is a good way to explain it because I think that's the same thing like when people collect like comic books.
I think
Yeah, you need
comic,
to have the
yeah,
whole
They need the whole
range.
series,
Yeah.
you know, and then somebody will have like this rare series they could never find and it's like still in the plastic and they're like, "Oh God,
But then they
I will
take
give you
advantage of you
whatever
because
you
then they make
want."
like alternate covers. So you have to buy like each one.
they did that in the 90s a lot.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
that drives me crazy.
I never was into comic books. I liked them, but all of my buddies were, and yeah, the McFarlane Supermans,
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Spider-Mans. But yeah, they would have like the gold foil and the silver foil and the
Yes.
bronze foil cover, whatever, and it's like you had to have all of them. Um, but so psychologically, right? I mean, it's
It
tapping
could be
into
back to
something.
FOMO, fear of missing out, and you're not going to get the one they put out, you know.
Do you think it's, and not to get all deep on this, but do you think it's like in modern times we have so like we really don't want for anything, so we have to find stuff
Hmm,
to want? I mean, like
possibly.
we don't need food, we don't need like we have everything we need, heat, shelter, transportation. Like in general, most people, we're not starving. There's not people dying in the gutter,
Hmm.
and so
Yeah.
like we're just transferring that hunter-gatherer
Yeah.
feel into something. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe it all could be like for me, the stuff that I collect, like it just makes me happy
mhm,
to do it. Um, so that's why I like to do it.
yeah, and
Something to
that's
do gives
yeah,
me something to think about and look forward to. I don't not really look forward to. I wouldn't go that far. But I mean, maybe that's and like the complete like you could all just go into
Hmm.
one.
Your
But
collection
again,
should
I
be
think there's
something.
not all like the owl lady or
yeah,
the salt and pepper grandma.
I
I
would
don't think
hate it
that's
if
the
I
same.
didn't like the stuff I was collecting. Like if you didn't really like Beanie Babies, but the stuff I have, I like to, from time to time you'll pull it out and you just kind of look at it,
Mhm.
kind of go through and you reminisce about the different comic
yeah.
books or the different baseball cards and oh, I remember that player.
Baseball cards.
And you
Yeah,
just kind of go through and you think of, I mean, you
And the
enjoy.
memories behind getting that
Right.
thing. But that's different than the Beanie Baby collection. Nobody liked Beanie Babies. Nobody liked them.
That
They
I
just
don't
did
under,
it.
I would hate that.
Everyone just did it because they fucking had to. Like
And you
you
just
had to, or
shove
you're
them
not going to
into
be
your
rich in them.
closet
You
and
weren't
you
going to be
never look
rich
at them.
in 10 years if you didn't. I don't know.
well,
But
there's
yeah,
all
no.
there's also this like this value obligation. So my grandmother, who died 25 years ago, whatever, she collected hummels, which are sort of like, if you're
Mhm.
into antiques, they're sort of like the joke. I mean, no one
Oh,
really wants
those
hummels.
little figurine
The
things.
little German figurines are like
Okay.
3 inches high. And so she didn't have a million of them, but she, I don't know, probably had like 30, 40 of them. Like, and they were old, because she was buying them in the 30s, whatever. She was born like 1907 or whatever. Um, so anyway, we used, like, I remember as a kid going to her house, and it was like they were in this little curio cabinet,
Mhm.
and so they took up real estate in the
Mhm.
living room or family room. And I remember as a kid being like, these are
What are these?
stupid. Like, why in
Yeah.
the world? And so fast forward, she died 25, 24 years ago. My parents had them in a curio in their house up until a few months ago because they moved, and so they were like they're asking my sister and I, like, hey, do you guys want these? And we were like,
No.
I don't know. And so
Maybe get
like,
one.
well, why don't you pick the ones you want? My dad sent my sister and I all these pictures of these hummels, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's kind of cool. My sister was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So we kind of split them, and they sent them to me in a box, and that box is right there.
Mhm.
It's right there. Like I probably won't open it uh for 20 years, and I'll probably give it to my who. What I'm saying is, I don't even know why I have them. I feel like I can't get rid of them. I mean, it's sort of like, some kind of like obligation or something like that. And then I look at like things from who was this? I was looking for that was from my grandmother. Oh, my mom was into these things called like cat's meows, which are like little buildings made of wood. They're like half an inch thick, and they are like all these historical buildings, and they each have like a little cat on them, and you can buy them at any gift shop in the entire world, that has them.
Yeah.
And same story, man. They were all over the house. They were kind of cool. I even made her one
I don't think that
25
counts.
years ago. And so they've come to me, and now I have them, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what
My
to do.
mom used to collect those precious moments
Yes,
figurines.
same thing. Yeah.
Mhm. And every year this is weird. I thought maybe it meant something to her. I don't know. But for every year that she in her collection, she would get one with a number on it. So
Mm.
like the first year she started collecting it, she got a one with it's like a angel with a one or whatever it was. I don't even know what happened to those. I don't even know if she still has.
There's certain
But
things like that where collections like what we're talking about really work in my opinion, and that's Christmas tree ornaments.
I was just thinking of
Hmm.
Christmas
I
tree
mean,
ornaments
that
with
is
the
like
year on it.
Now,
We have one with like every year on it.
every year, and you get the and it works. Like it's perfect because you put them away, and then when you bring them out every year, it's like,
you
oh wow!
can,
Like Tom was saying, you reminisce, you can look at them, you put them on the tree, you get to look at them all in together with other
or you can
ornaments.
do like when you if you travel a lot, you can get an ornament for wherever you go, and you can like
Yes.
keep it like that. So, funny you bring up Christmas trees. So like a bitch loves a Christmas tree. Okay.
You have
Um,
multiple Christmas
I
trees,
have
right?
multiple Christmas trees and I
Yeah,
have
I
multiple
remember.
and they're all themed and I that's one of those things that it's like it just that brings me joy. That might be start to be becoming an obsession in a hoarding situation, so we gotta stop that. But
The
um
ornaments or just
the
Christmas
Christmas
things?
in general,
Christmas
we'll go
stuff in
over.
general.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can talk about it in a second. But
Yeah, yeah.
so my grandmother, one of them, I have several. My dad's mom, she was like old money, okay?
Hmm.
And they traveled the world. Oh my gosh, like they did all this traveling all the time. Like every couple of months they would be somewhere. And she would always bring back ornaments. And it wasn't like they said like, Germany 2001 or whatever the fuck. It
Right.
was like she would get like these beautiful like blown glass like birds or like
Mm,
just something that was reflective of the place that they went, but not necessarily like a souvenir ornament, if that makes sense.
Right. Right.
yeah.
And so this is where I think my deep down where my ornament obsession came from. When I would go help her decorate her Christmas tree, I only did it a couple times because my God, it took forever, but it takes me forever, so whatever. But she would every ornament she pulled out, there was a story. Every single ornament. And when I was younger, I was like, Jesus Christ, gosh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But now, like, I don't think
Now you do the same
You
thing.
don't think it's
I
crazy?
do the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But I do the same thing. Like I emulate the same thing. I wish I had the stories to go behind the stuff that I have because
Do you have
I
some of hers? Do you have some of her ornaments?
so I don't have contact with her anymore.
Oh, okay,
It's a long
gotcha.
story. It's a
Okay.
very long story, but and honestly, I I don't know. Maybe when she passes away, maybe one of
Just
my
curious.
brother will maybe
Yeah.
my brother will like give them to me, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
That would be cool.
the reason I'm asking is like I have a few ornaments that were my mom's and my dad's, and they came over. They just moved back to Maryland recently, and we had the tree up, and it was this bananas tree because it just had like all of these old ornaments on it, and there were a couple that she had had when she was a kid that she gave to me, and so when she came over to our house, she was just like, I mean, it was like 2 hours after she got here, she was like looking at the tree and she's like, "Oh my God." Like, I mean, and I thought it was so cool. There were things that this ornament, she hadn't seen it in like decades. You know what I mean? And it's like, because normally I wouldn't see her during Christmas, and it was like on the tree. And so she got to see this tree that she saw that she had when she was like 5, and it's on her son's tree. I mean, that's cool. I mean, to me, Christmas
Yeah.
ornaments are like, because they're not out all the time. Like, you wouldn't have a Christmas ornament
Mhm.
in a curio in your living room year
You
round.
might
It would destroy the. Oh, but I'm
There's
saying it
probably
would.
people that have
There's
them
probably
year
people
round.
that some even on this podcast maybe do
No,
that.
I don't. I don't.
Oh, okay.
My Christmas trees are still up though, so
But there is definitely a
yeah.
difference between like collectibles, quote unquote, and collections. So like my
Hmm.
dad is into collecting knives, and
Hmm.
but he doesn't like to have many of them. So I have a ton of knives because he gets these knives and he enjoys them for a year or two, and then he gives them to me. Like, oh hey, do you want that? So now I've got like a shoebox of knives because he just keeps giving them to me so
Get
that
all the overflow.
he can go get a new one, right? Because he gives me the old one. But that's not. I mean, there's something practical about it. He does use it. It's not something he doesn't display them. I mean, there is a difference between a collection that you display and one that you just
Hmm.
have in a box, I guess. I don't know.
Or like let's just say I collect KitchenAid uh kitchen utensils. I don't know. You use those, but if you only wanted KitchenAid ones, you maybe you could see that collection. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. I
But
mean,
I will say the KitchenAid ones are the best ones.
I have certain like tools in my garage, and I like them because they were my dad's, like my
oh
dad's
yeah,
hammer,
hmm
or
yeah,
certain things that belong to my dad. So that, I mean, that could be, and I'm
yeah.
hanging on to them just for that reason.
Do you ever use them?
Yes,
Yeah, see,
I'll use them.
that's practical.
They don't make them like they don't
They
make
don't
them like they used to.
Make
Is
'em
that
like
what
they
it says?
used to.
There you go.
they,
Quality.
they do not make
But
them
I
like
mean,
they used
okay,
to.
so like if you were into a certain brand, let's just say DeWalt.
Yeah,
If you only like DeWalt tools and you have like the whole shit that DeWalt even puts out, you're like, I got their toolbox, I got their drill, I got their driver, I got their all the things. Is that a collection or is that just a preference? Because I mean, would you have
pro,
if you were gonna have tools anyway?
If it
pro,
spills over to the point where you got the DeWalt like floor mat, and you got a DeWalt poster on the
the
wall,
hat.
And
Yeah,
the
the
DeWalt
DeWalt poster.
toolbox, like the
Yeah,
right?
I mean
Things
they
that you
try
don't
to
you
get
use
got
you
that
in.
anymore.
DeWalt headlight battery thing.
They do try to get you into the ecosystem, right? Where the
Yeah.
battery
They
powers
do.
multiple,
hmm
multiple things.
And then you got to buy that shit separately anyway. So,
I mean, again, there's certain things that are, I don't know. I remember growing up, I was never into it, and no one I really knew was, but I remember seeing them. People that collected National Geographics, and I'm sure there's people that still
hmm
do. It's kind of like a book, like what Tom was saying, but
Hmm.
it's also like
Reader's Digest.
Reader's Digest. Yeah, man. I
They're so
remember
pretty, you
seeing
don't want to throw them out,
you don't want to,
like the
you don't
National
want to get rid
Geographic.
of them. I don't know.
You
I
ever
mean,
seen them? Have you ever seen a restoration hardware catalog?
yes. Oh yeah. I used to have a
That's collection worthy
yeah, I used to have a
in the Pottery Barn.
yeah, I bought a the hat I wear sometimes on the podcast that with the brim on it was Peterson? What's
Oh
that
yeah,
catalog?
yeah.
J anyway.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, I bought that hat in one of those catalogs. I mean, this was like 20 years ago. That hat's like old as hoo-ha's. I still get the catalog every like 2 months, every 3 months I get that catalog.
Oh, you know, it's a good. This is a good one about collections. Just catalogs like magazines or like
Hmm.
if you get because a lot of sometimes people get subscription magazines. I don't really know if people do that anymore. You surely don't buy them at the store
Mm-mm.
because they're like $15. The
Yeah,
hell, ridiculous. I mean,
they're
anyway.
they're
Yeah,
fun. My
magazines are nice.
mother-in-law has found in her piles of stuff like some Sears catalogs from like
hmm
80, 81, 82. They are
hmm
hilarious. I
Playboys, people would collect those.
oh yeah. Yeah,
The
in the
Rolling Stone.
woods. You would find them in the
hmm
woods
Yeah, sticky.
behind a
Weird.
tree.
I don't know what kind of wrinkly.
Beer
So
cans. Yeah.
there's a catalog called the whole seed catalog.
I've seen that.
Have
I
you
don't
seen
know.
those?
I've
Those are
seen,
collection
yes.
worthy.
Yeah, they're
I have one.
beautiful. They're beautiful.
They are beautiful. And you can actually order shit from them.
I don't
They're
know,
cool.
man. There's so many. I had a friend. Well, this was a friend of a friend. And again, it's a while ago. This is back when I was into antiquing. And there's people I've known that get into certain things for a limited period of time, like a year or two or three, and then
hmm
they get it out of their system, they
Yeah.
liquidate it, and they move on to something else. And this collection that he had was the most impressive collection I've ever seen in my life. He was into collecting um, promotional marketing things from a company called CD Kenny, like the cat David Kenny, which was a coffee company in Baltimore in like the late 1800s. And when you would buy the thing of coffee, inside the coffee was like a little metal figurine that was like a collectible. So people would collect these, again, almost
hmm
like arbitrary. So he collected those, but then he also collected the cans and he collected the signs and he collected the store displays and he collect in his house it was like CD Kenny, Bananaville, every room had CD Kenny stuff in it to the point where his crown jewel, and this thing was thousands of dollars was a CD Kenny automaton that would sit on top
Wow.
of the countertop in a store, in like a general store, at like the turn of the century, and it would like move and like pour
Wow.
coffee. Anyway, he got to the point where literally there was nothing else he could find, and then he like liquidated the entire thing to some other person that was like in total,
Another CD Kenny nut.
and then he just started collecting other stuff, and I was just like, wow,
How do you do that?
that's a human. I mean, that is such a
I
human
guess that would be a
trait.
completist
I
kind
think
of
he was.
collection.
I
Like they're
think
like,
that's like
want it
a
all? They
Maybe
don't
he
need it anymore.
completed it, so
he completed
Hmm
it, and it was done, and he was okay
challenge
with
was
it.
done. Yeah.
Beer cans. I remember when I was a kid,
Beer
I
cans,
collected beer
that's trash.
cans.
Beer
Man, you get
cans,
the
like on that you find on the road.
you find them on the road, and then you get the ones that are unopened because like you keep the. This was back when they still had pool tabs, and you would like pop a hole in the bottom and drain it, and the fact that
Mm.
my parents let me have
We
beer
used to
cans on
shot.
my wall in
Is
my
that the same as
bedroom.
shotgunning beers?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have to
But
open it for that.
but now there's just too many beer cans. Like you just
Yeah.
can't do it anymore,
I used
you
to
know?
collect the bottle caps because we
Mm.
lived like across the street from a carryout where people would get off work and they'd go there and they'd hang out and drink beers. And me and my
Oh
brother would
man.
go over there like on a Saturday morning and just go through the parking lot and get all the little try to get the ones that were not bent,
Not bent up.
get a good one.
Now, were you looking for certain ones, or it didn't matter? You just wanted not bent ones.
Yeah, I think at first we just wanted like the nice one, anything that had like a
Good
nice
shape.
design or
Mm.
colorful.
Not like the Bud Light ones.
I don't remember but they probably had different
I don't even think
colors
Bud
and
Light
stuff.
was around. That I mean,
Budweiser.
I just love the fact that you were that we were finding all these beer bottle caps in a parking lot.
Yeah, right.
That
Well,
it kind of assumes that people are drinking and
in
like
those days, yeah, they'd get
yeah,
off
that
work from the
Maybe it was a
factory or wherever.
patio.
no, I
Go
think
drinking.
people yeah,
It's a
they were
different time.
drinking.
Yeah, but see, even that's like that is a fun, like, because it wouldn't have been the same if you were just like, hey, yo, bartender, listen, I'm collecting these bottle caps. Why don't you just put a picture under there, under that little thing you have,
Yeah,
and they
we
Yeah.
could
were
just
doing
drop
the
in there.
actual search. It was like a search, and you had
Yeah,
to
it's the
find a
find.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not fun. Yeah, so let's get to the antique. Well,
Yeah,
so what
yeah.
else do you collect, Tom?
Me. So we
Hmm
talked about the coins, baseball cards, comic
Baseball
books.
card's a good one.
Most of my comic books are from like 82, 83, 84.
Wow.
I
That's
still have all of those. And those, funny, I mean, you were talking about it before. So I thought I would give those to my oldest son.
yeah,
He's 15 now. He doesn't have the slightest interest.
in
I've
them.
got one more son who's coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
he's my only
Yeah,
hope. Otherwise, I'm going to
sports
die.
cards aren't a thing anymore. Like they
Yeah.
So
Everything's digital now.
Pokemon cards.
I've
so
got
but
my records, the vinyl records. We showed those
yes.
on the previous
Episode.
in the bottle caps. Those are probably the things that I have. That's probably about it.
So
You
what
still
do
have the
you
bottle caps?
No, I don't have
Oh,
them.
did you ever make like a coffee table out of them?
Oh, that's a
No,
cool
I've seen
idea.
those,
Should have
but
done that.
yeah. No, I was
That's
So
what you
thinking
should do with those pennies, Mike. You should make a fucking coffee table out of them.
I like that idea. That is a
put them all under glass. Yeah.
yeah,
Like, and then you put the resin.
yeah.
Mhm.
No,
That's a
I
great
mean
idea. You
I
can
think
make a
that's a
whole
good idea.
set. You can make a coffee table with two end tables.
I'd like to do it
I
so
don't know how
you
many you
could
have.
see them from each side though, or just flip some. It here's the thing, and with Tom with his comic book collection, it is troubling. Like, what do you do? It's not that you don't know that someone else is going to that a loved one is going to love it as much as you do.
Just
There
assume
is,
that my kids would want them.
yeah,
I it was unexpected that they would not
that they would
care.
not want them. Are they into comic books, just not those? Are they into comic book characters, but just
Yeah,
not
I
those,
think
or
like
just
Dad said, I don't think comic books are a thing anymore because
Yeah, because it's the movies now.
oh,
all the
wow.
the comic book stores pretty much closed, and I mean, I guess they're still digital. You can like download the comic books, but it's all like the movies and stuff now.
My
Wow.
for a little bit my son used to collect those minfigs,
Mini
like the
Legos.
minfigs, the Lego minfigs,
Yeah.
Okay.
the little dudes like
Mini
in the
figures.
Lego sets. Yeah, they're
Oh,
called
okay.
minfigs.
Yeah.
All right.
Minifigs.
I didn't
The
know that
dudes,
was
the little
a
Lego dudes.
term
The
for those.
little tiny
Yeah, I know what
Lego
you're talking about.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get like the Spider-Man Lego set and then there would be like the Spider-Man Lego
Oh
guy
yeah. Yeah.
or like the Ice Cream Man Lego guy or like whatever.
He collected
Like
those.
he
Yeah.
collected them. He doesn't anymore. He doesn't care about Legos, but yeah, we have every single Lego set. I mean, they're not together anymore. They're all broke, but we have these huge tub of Legos on Legos, and then I have another huge tub of just the Lego books
Do they
that
not play with them anymore or
no,
no?
they don't. He doesn't even want Legos. Legos ain't cool no more, yo.
There's
Dude,
fanatics
they
about Legos.
I like
My
Legos.
wife,
They're fun.
I
my
love
wife is big
Legos.
on Legos. They do this thing. She like ordered this big box, and what they'll do is like you have it delivered to your house. It was the Titanic, and it was about 6 feet
Oh
long.
Oh
my
man.
gosh.
So they ship it to her in the box. She builds it. She put it on the mantle for like a little while. Then she took it apart, boxed it back up, and ships it to the next person. Then the next person does the same thing. So they just have these different things that go around from enthusiast to enthusiast, and
That's pretty cool.
turns building
But what if you got the Titanic and there was like two pieces missing?
it.
I'd be
Well,
pissed.
I mean, you can
Yeah.
order the piece. You would know which piece it was, I think, and you could order it.
Once you get so
They're
many
very careful.
Legos,
Everything's like in little baggies and it's packed like very
oh, okay.
neatly. And you got to
Wow.
repack it
Like when
exactly
it
like for
comes
the
out the
next person.
box from the
And
Legos,
you
you
don't
got the
just like
number book.
dump it back into a giant box. You
Oh
got
yeah, ours is in our box.
you got to like very
But you could
carefully
dig
pack.
any Lego you needed, you could dig in that box and just find
You're
it. They
gonna
used to be
find it.
color. They used to be in color coded drawers. Like there would be all the white Legos, all the black
Yes.
Legos, all the green Legos. Not no more.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Legos are
but
fun. I mean, I'm just thinking, I mean, as a what are your guys' thoughts about just collections in general and when people have these things and there's a certain emotional thing like what Tom's talking about with the comic books and I've kind of felt this a little bit, but I've seen other people that felt this where this is something very important to them and they want someone else to appreciate it and the other person just doesn't. Like that's a that's hard, man. I mean, that's a hard thing to deal with. I've seen that many times. I mean, that
I
sort of
I
thing.
don't know. Like
What do you
I feel
do?
like collections today are different than they were when y'all were growing up or when your parents were growing up.
In what
Because you guys
respect?
have like the comic books and the baseball cards and the football cards and the sports memorabilia and and you started collecting that when you were children. Like
Uh-huh.
and it meant a lot to you. Now the kids they don't do that.
They don't collect
And
things.
so even me, I didn't collect anything when I was a kid. But the collections I have now are if no one wants them, it's not gonna hurt my feelings,
Mhm.
Okay.
because they're just things I like.
Yeah.
They mean a little bit to me, but it's not I might well, there's a few things I might get pissed about. I might haunt you about. But them shiny
Well,
bright
Okay.
ornaments, I'm gonna haunt you for those ones. Don't get rid of them.
I have a
But
list of like the top 10 weirdest collections. So probably things that nobody else would want
yes.
other than the person that collect if you want me to go through it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
mhm.
Bring it on.
Navel fluff, like belly button
Ew.
implants.
Yeah, they put that in the jar.
There's a guy, Graham Barker from Australia, has collected his own navel fluff since
Okay.
1984,
His own.
amassing over 22 grams that he puts into jars. He holds the Guinness World Records for this. This is something like nobody
How do
else
you gather?
would want that.
Do you ever really? You must have a deep belly button. I don't ever get belly button fluff.
Yeah.
No, I get
Yeah.
belly
I got
button.
an innie.
I also
Yeah.
don't have hair on my stomach to collect the fluff, so
I
I
have
don't
a
know.
I have a pretty
Air
severe innie.
air sickness bags. There's
Wow.
a
That's a weird
guy
collection.
from the Netherlands. He has 6,290 barf bags from
Hmm.
over 1,000 airlines.
I think he's taken
Jeez.
a lot of flights.
Why would you want
He
How
probably
often
has
do they change
collects
them?
traffic cones? There's a guy that has
wow.
500. That's got to
That's
take up a
stealing.
lot of space.
That's
Well, yeah, is he just like taking them off the road?
That's horrible. Like, and
So
there's like
Craig,
hundreds of thousands of accidents as a result.
For a little bit, him and his friends side story, they were into like stealing like restaurant welcome mats, you know?
Oh
Oh,
They would like just
man,
like be real drunk and just like take it.
okay.
Why are you doing that?
not good.
Yeah, here's a similar one to that. Do not disturb signs.
Oh
There's a person
man,
from Germany that has
uh,
11,570 of these do not disturb
from
signs for
hotels.
hotels, cruises, and
Hmm.
airplanes from 188 different countries.
I
They just
wonder,
all around his house, do not disturb.
are they discreet? Like, does he have like 50 of one type? That
I don't
always
know. I
kind of
mean, what does he do? Does he kind of like sit through there and reminisce about different places he went? Or, I mean,
there. I don't mind talking about, and I want to get back to this list, but just you made me think of something. There's a guy who was a friend of a friend of a friend that I know, and he's dead now, so that's fine. But he collected Nazi war memorabilia, and he
yeah.
was
Hmm.
really over the top into it. Like like back in the 80s, he was an older guy.
Like, was he wearing swastikas on his hats and shit?
No, but he back in the 80s, he would make trips to Germany, and he had people that he knew that knew people that had like a Nazi era motorcycle with a sidecar in the barn that was under bales of hay, and he would like buy this stuff and ship it back.
Hmm.
He lived in Bel Air, Maryland, and he showed me this stuff. He had like garages full of this stuff. He died years ago, and I always thought I
What do
didn't
you
know
do
him
with that
anymore.
collection?
What do you do with that?
You burn it. That's what you do.
I mean, people are going to be horrified to
But
see
I don't
it.
know, I don't know, there
He
might be
had a
some
half track.
war people that like collect war shit. I
He
don't
had a
know.
half track. It's got the truck with the wheels in the front and then tank treads. He owned one. He owned one of these.
Oh
I
dear.
remember looking through. He had all these medals and all like in this
Swastika medals.
display, and there was this one. It still stuck with me, and I've never. If I saw one, I would buy it just because it was so beautiful. And it was from the Nazi Africa Corps, and
Mm.
it was probably about this big. It was a lapel. It kind of went on your uniform, and it was a palm tree, and in the center of the palms, it was a swastika, and it was like pure silver, and it was like hor it was hard. It was so weird because it was horrible and beautiful at the same time. Like it was
Yeah.
Right.
a naturalistic palm tree with a swastika, and I'm like, what are you gonna do with this stuff, man? Anyway, I don't even know what happened to him. I
You
mean,
donate it to a museum or you open your own museum.
or you open your. I mean, I from the time I last knew him or talked to him to when he died was probably like 15 or 20 years. So I have no idea what happened to that stuff.
Hmm.
But
A lot of these people, they do open museums.
yeah,
Like, here's one that I thought was, okay, this is crazy. There's a person, Nancy Hoffman from Maine. She has 730 umbrella sleeves. Not
Hmm.
the umbrella,
what do
just the
you-
cover, the sleeves that
Hmm.
you put the umbrellas in.
Yeah, what do you do with those?
wow. I don't even know if I have any of those because
I
you
don't
just
even
tuck
know. I
them
have the umbrellas, not the sleeves.
because they end up
But
leaving.
she's created a museum of this, and what
Hmm.
it says that when people come into her museum, she plays the accordion for them while they look around the
Hmm.
house, I guess. If you can
Hmm.
imagine that.
That's weird.
I would
Wow,
think
man.
whoever collects umbrella sleeves, they would probably play the accordion. That seems appropriate.
That is like the most bizarre
That's like saying
thing.
I collect straw wrappers. The
All
fuck?
right. Yeah, it
Why?
is. You're right. That is very similar.
Why
Some
would
of
you just
them
not collect
must,
straws?
there must be some decorative ones, I guess, but
Umbrella
still.
Yeah,
sleeves.
but then what happened to the umbrella?
Okay, here's one. A guy collects pizza boxes.
That's kind of
No.
okay. I could see
Used?
that. I could see that.
He's got
Used?
595 pizza boxes.
I
Used
mean, he probably
or
just takes the top off because you can't keep keeping greasy pizza
Oh,
box
you
forever.
don't think he has the whole
you
box?
think he
I mean,
has
he might.
the unused ones?
You know what? I miss the little
I think they're
pizza table that
used.
used to come in the box. I miss those.
The little table that keeps it from
Somebody collects
smashing.
those,
Oh,
I'm sure.
little pizza tables.
The pizza
With the
tables, I don't
little,
know.
what did you
The
call
little
them?
thing that,
Figs.
Yeah, the
yeah,
little
like the
All
table.
the
That,
minifig
figs around the
tables.
pizza table, and they
Mm-hmm.
would eat like a little
They
tiny
could,
pizza.
yeah, they could do
you
it.
know what's funny though with these
A Lego
collections,
pizza.
and even like the pizza box, and I know nothing about pizza boxes. but you guys will know this just from collectors. There's gonna be like, oh man, this is like the 2 millimeter cardboard that's corrugated, but then in 1974 they went to the three
Right.
millimeter
Hmm.
cardboard, and this was like the fold one. There's as much nuance as you want. You can just go right down the rabbit hole on almost any subject. It's
Yeah.
amazing. But
We got
so
one of those. We got the Pizza Hut museum here.
what
It's, yeah,
is
that
Pizza
because
Hut from?
Wichita's, yeah, it's where
No
Wichita was
way.
where pizza was.
Where it started.
They started. Hmm.
Really?
And White Castle, which they have the original White Castle like on a farm somewhere. They just picked the building up and moved it. It's crazy.
That's astonishing. Man, I worked at like 4 Pizza Huts in my life when I was younger.
Hmm.
I was like
Did you
Pizza.
deliver the pizzas or did you make the
No,
pizzas?
I made them at 2 and I waited tables at 2.
So you worked at the Pizza
Oh,
Hut cafe or whatever it's called.
It was just a Pizza Hut.
Oh,
I worked in the
so
kitchen and then
you put the pizzas on the buffet
on the buffet.
and made sure
no,
the drinks. Oh,
no, I would deliver them to a table like I was
oh,
a waiter.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I was a
That's cool.
Those
horrible
Pizza Hut
waiter.
buffets were the best.
I never saw one.
Pizza buffets are good. You never saw Pizza Buffet?
I never saw a
Okay.
pizza
Dude, I
buffet.
don't understand how Pizza Buffet is not a thing no anymore, but fucking CC's is. Blech.
If
We call that feces pizza. No, no.
Look,
Uh,
I've been.
you're hungry enough, it's not that bad.
no.
I
Pizza
want a
Ranch is good.
place. I want a place, and I live around DC, so I should find. They've got to have it. But I want a place that has wood-fired pizza that you can. That's like charcoaly that you can buy
Yeah,
by the slice. And I cannot find any place
there's a
that
place.
sells
Oh,
it
we
by the
got stuff like
slice.
that.
Yeah,
Why?
we
How?
got one.
By the slice?
Yeah.
Yes, by the
Okay.
slice, and it's it's kind of like burned in there, and they get all
Yeah,
And
this
it's
like
like
black
giant,
charcoal.
we got to talk about
usually.
this because I got to find one. Every
Yeah,
place
it's
I
called Il
find,
Vicino.
it's called what?
Here it's called Il Vicino.
Oh, okay.
But,
Every place I find, you have to buy the whole pizza.
mm, well, even if you did it like 4 pieces.
Yeah. Okay, Tom, keep
But
going. You
yeah,
got this
good,
whole
good.
list. You got a good
That
list
was
here.
about. I mean, those were
Oh,
the good ones. Some of the other ones are kind of stupid, like toenail clippings and.
That's gross.
Oh,
That's just gross.
wow.
That's called gross.
That's
we got a
called
list, another list.
Psycho.
So these are celebrity collections. Some of them are weird. So Johnny Depp,
Uh-huh.
I would never have guessed this, but he collects Barbie dolls.
Hmm.
He
Wow.
has an extensive collection of limited edition Barbie dolls, including celebrity figures like Beyonce and
Yeah.
Elvis Presley. He customizes them, blends them with eccentric creativity. Angelina
American
Jolie.
Girl dolls would be kind of a modern day like mothers pass to their
Those are
daughters
taking a lot of
collection.
space.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, but they're cool. Mm,
Angelina Jolie collects daggers and knives.
mm.
Which she
Yeah, a lot of people collect
Surprise.
swords and
when
shit.
she was 11 years old when her mom gave her a dagger.
Mm.
Tom
Jeez.
Hanks collects vintage typewriters.
I heard about
That's
that.
cool.
100.
He wrote a
Does he
book
use them?
about that.
I
Oh,
wonder.
did he?
See,
Did he
Did he
type
write it
it?
on the typewriter?
I don't know. But that's interesting because it's like when you have mechanical things to me are very interesting because you can kind of see how the technology progress. Like people that
Yeah.
collect cars, people that collect anything, model trains. I love seeing how things, like people that collect old
How they
Lionel
evolve over
trains.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is
Rod Stewart collects model trains. He's got a 100-foot model in his home. He's got a bunch. Quentin Tarantino collects board games that are movie themed board games.
Oh my
Makes
God.
sense for him.
Yeah,
Like the Star Wars Monopoly?
Probably there's a
probably.
hate
Yeah.
Monopoly. There's a Monopoly.
I
fan.
love Monopoly. You know, there's a Monopoly. It's called oh shit. It's called like the longest game of Monopoly ever or something. But it's this Monopoly game that doesn't end. We have it. We've never
What?
attempted to
That
play it,
should
but
not end, though.
How does it not end?
because there's it there. You know what? I'm gonna go get it.
They
Not
just
right
keep
now, but I'm gonna
giving
go get it.
They just keep handing out money.
Yes, yes. And there's even directions when you run out of money to rip the money. And on the back, it's like
you
4 monies and 1 money.
Oh,
I'm not gonna get it right now,
man.
but I'm gonna maybe next episode.
They should
That will
call
be
that
our
inflation Monopoly.
I have played Monopoly before with friends where cheating was allowed. So like if someone had to go to the
yeah,
bathroom, you
Cheaters
could
Edition.
You could take hotels off the board or
Mhm.
steal money from the bank, or
Yeah, it's called Cheaters Edition. Mhm.
that was kind of
Rosie
fun.
Anyway,
O'Donnell.
Oh,
This
what she
makes
collect?
sense. Rosie O'Donnell collects McDonald's Happy Meal toys.
Mm,
He
yeah,
has
a lot of people
over
do that.
2,500 Happy Meal toys since the 1980s.
that's a big one. I've heard of people collecting that stuff.
Yeah, she's a big one.
Ha.
But yes, stuff like that. I don't know. There was like a lot of interesting stuff on the
But
internet. There's a lot of weird collections out there.
when I was thinking about collections, another again, I just love thinking about the human nature side of this. I remember as a kid, I was probably like 8 years old, and my buddy Keith and we always would play down at the stream or whatever, and we would catch frogs and salamanders and stuff. And one of
Did you collect
us,
salamanders?
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so one day,
He started
one of
putting
us
them in
was like,
jars.
let's see, and this was probably like, in the morning, we had like a third, one of those big trash cans, 32-gallon trash can.
Yeah.
And we were like, long story short, we were like, let's see how many frogs we can collect today or whatever. So we just started catching frogs and like bringing them back to my house and putting them in this trash can with some like water and food or whatever. There's so many frogs. They were like on top of each other, and my mom was horrified. I remember that. And she made and we didn't know what to do with them, and so we literally just pushed the
Dumped them.
trash can over. And I still remember so vividly, just hundreds of frogs like brum, 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 like down the end of my yard back into the stream again. But there was something about like, let's see how many of these things we can get,
Right.
and I don't know if that's a guy thing more than a girl thing. Like fireflies, back when we used to have fireflies.
Fireflies, yeah.
How many can you fit in a jar, and you just get them as many as you can, and then you just let them go. I mean, I'm just saying, I think there's something in our nature that we
Yeah.
want to do that, and that we don't have to do it for practical reasons anymore. We've kind of evolved into like, we still have the behavior, but it's not tied to anything um, that we have to do. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just,
Right.
because it's
I'll be
worldwide.
right back.
I mean, it's worldwide. There's people. I mean, what, half the population collects stuff, probably, at
There was
least.
probably, like you're saying, there was probably a survival reason why we did it. Like
That's a
food, hunter gatherer, and now we just replace food with something else. Uh,
that's a
there's
great
probably
point,
a
Tom.
reason why we're doing it. Um,
I think you nailed it. I think that's what it. Yeah, it's a survival thing. Like the instinct is still there, even if the need
yeah,
isn't.
and we feel the need to apply that instinct to something.
Man, I just it's weird being on both sides of it because again, I've collected things and I thought it was rational, and then I see things that other people collect, and I'm like, there's people who are batshit crazy. Yeah, like if it's not you, if it's someone else doing it, it's very easy to be like, man, that person, they cuckoo, whatever. And but I've collected
You have
weird
anything that
stuff.
you think that you would be embarrassed to show other people?
Oh, that I wanted, that I like to collect,
Like
that I would
maybe
be
like
embarrassed about.
my pro wrestling magazines from the 1980s.
That's a great collection. Do you still have them?
Yeah, I like
Tom?
looking at old magazines because I
Yeah,
like looking at the ads more so
yeah.
than the article. Because just seeing like an old ad for like a Tandy 1000
Oh
price tag
man,
of like $3,999, it's so cool to see that old stuff.
there's
Okay,
yeah,
here we go.
yeah,
Let's talk about collections for a second.
yeah,
There's big ones, like the people that have the whole room, like the Chiefs room or the Maryland room or the Owl room or the Baby Boop room, right?
yeah,
Those, or like they have to have a whole storage unit for their cars that they have or whatever. And then there's that level, and then there's small collections that
A little
you like
shoebox.
or like mine is the things I'm about to show you guys. It's up to a certain point, and then you don't you feel it you it's you it feels fulfilled. You don't need any more of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
a yeah. You don't have to keep going. Like
right.
there's an end. there's
Yeah.
an
Like I
end.
don't need every single thing. But so when you were talking about antiquing, Mike, that is so my grandmother, back up a little bit. My
Yeah.
gr one of my other ones. She used to own a craft, we'll call it craft store, a home decor store, I guess, here in town for years. It was kind of like a pretty well known in the city. And a lot of it was like antiqued, like she, American Pickers, she kind of did the same thing in a sense. She had, these certain people she would go to and she would like go through their barns and then she would
Honey
make stuff out of
holes.
like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then I started doing that kind of with her. And so that kind of got me into this whole like,
So you were a picker.
yeah, kind of. I mean,
You did
not really
furniture.
then.
You did like furniture and stuff.
Yeah, so that's how I got into the furniture thing and how I got into like, this aesthetic of like this vintage aesthetic that I love. Now she's kind of a little older now and she kind of decided that she's done with the business, the selling and the shows and all that. So that's kind of why I don't do it anymore because it's not as fun as it was
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
to do. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't, why do I want to go drive 45 minutes to go through a barn somewhere
It's
for,
a social thing. Like you want to do it with
Mhm.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still go to antique stores. I mean, I still would do it,
Yeah.
but it's not as fun. It's when you
Yeah.
find the thing, it's funner to share it with the person that cares about the thing too, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's fun when you find the thing that you are like, ooh, excited about on your own, but it's even funner when like it's my grandma. It's my grandma. Like, hey, grandma, we found these things. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So cool.
Right.
Anyway,
Because you would appreciate it. Yeah.
yeah. So I do have some small collections because of this vintage aesthetic. Like number one, Christmas, that's getting to a hoarding situation. But I love shiny bright ornaments.
Yeah.
Did you guys have shiny bright ornaments when you
Oh
were
yeah.
We
younger?
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of glass ornaments that are shiny
Hmm.
and bright.
Well, the brand is shiny bright.
Oh no,
Oh,
I
I
don't think
thought
I
you
have any
meant
of this.
shiny bright ornaments.
I don't have
Yeah,
that.
shiny and bright. No,
I didn't know
shiny
there
No.
was a
bright.
brand.
Shiny
So
bright.
what is shiny bright?
Shiny bright.
I mean, what are those?
They're just ornaments. A lot of them are like blown glass. They're like, dang, I wish I had one
Hey, maybe I
accessible.
have one and I don't even know it.
You
Shiny
probably
bright.
do.
I'm gonna
Do
write
you
it down.
remember? Yeah, do you remember the aluminum Christmas trees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was that same type of, I don't think shiny, maybe they did. I don't know, but the little color wheel that shined onto the aluminum Christmas tree?
Yeah, and it would like make
That's
it
a shiny
sparkle.
bright. Yeah, that's a shiny bright
Oh,
product.
I'm gonna look this up. Yeah, we're
So
gonna
a
put
lot of
some.
shiny brights are just like color, balls.
Yeah.
But and then they
Little
have like the
disco
ones that are
balls or something. Oh
no,
no,
just like
not the.
solid
Okay,
colors
I
or
know.
like they
It's shiny. Yeah.
anyway,
Okay.
just Google them. You'll see.
I'm gonna Google 'em.
Um, Google them. So there's that. I love vintage Christmas stuff. Like I love going and getting like Christmas greeting cards that are very, very old. That's like a postcard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can buy them
Yes.
at like well, some people would just be trying to overcharge for it. It's not that important, but like if
I
they're $1, $2, I'll buy all
I
that they
sent
got.
that's what I sent out for my Christmas cards for like 20 years. I would just buy vintage, unused, old
Most of the
stock,
ones
like new
that
old stock Christmas
yeah,
cards.
most of the ones I come across are written on, and it's funny. It's cute
You can
to
reuse
read
them.
the little note.
Yeah, write a little note.
No, I don't want to reuse them. I want to hang them on my wall.
Oh, oh.
Um, yeah, so I have like this display where I don't get that many Christmas cards. People don't be sending Christmas cards that often anymore, so I just hang the vintage ones on the Christmas cards things.
Sorry I didn't
Um,
send you one this year,
it's all right.
Desiree.
I don't care.
I didn't send any out. I usually do, but I didn't send any out.
Putz houses. I don't know if you know what those are, but I've
No.
got some of those. Um,
Putts?
Putz houses.
What is that?
They're just little. You know what? I do have one. Hold on.
Are they paper?
Yeah, they're like cardboard.
I'm just wondering if I
The
recognize
thing
it,
you
but
were
I don't know
talking
that.
about. That could be the thing you were referring to earlier, Mike.
Yeah,
A Putz house.
Putts
I never heard
house.
of that. Yeah,
Man,
I've got like all of my like gift cards and like all of my birthday card. I save those. I
yeah.
got like just a big bag of them. I try to
I
write the year on it. If you don't write the year on it, then you really don't know
it's
when it was from. So you try to write the year on the back if you're smart. But
photos are a weird thing too. Like with my parents moving, they dumped all these boxes of photographs on me, and I'm like, they're all just disorganized
right.
from like the 50s
Some of them
till
are
now.
people
Like
that
I
you
don't know
don't
what
like. Who is
some I
this?
barely even know who they are. I mean,
Yeah, you're
Right.
like, why is my hair weird? This is a put's house.
Oh,
oh,
okay.
I did not know. Okay, is it's made
So
out
they're
of
like
like thin
cardboard.
cardboard. I've seen
Yeah, it's like
things like
cardboard
that.
and they're like glitter painted.
Are they
They're not very
handmade?
big.
Are they handmade?
I don't know. I just think they're so cute.
Hmm.
They are cute. They're very
They're
cute.
cute.
What do you do with that?
I think you
Like
just,
set up a
well,
little
you could,
village. You can set up like a
this
little
one has,
Christmas village.
yeah,
Oh,
you
it's
could
an
like put
ornament.
them on your Christmas tree. Some of them have these, so you can hang them or you could just set them in the tree. I usually just set them around. They're cute.
Hmm.
So those little vintage elves that they,
Yes.
not the elf on a shelf
But
now,
no, the
today's elf
little
on a,
elves.
the,
Yeah.
yes, those. So anything vintage Christmas. I love vintage Christmas strings of lights.
Oh man,
Stuff
because
like
they
they're so
glow.
cool.
They yeah. There's a
The bubbly
ambience.
ones.
There's an ambience to them that the
Mm-hmm.
new lights do not have. The
Like a
new lights are.
warm light. Anyway, so that's my Christmas obsession. But other than that, so I have like I don't want to say farmhouse,
Yeah.
but like there's a certain aesthetic of I guess vintage shit that I have. Here we go. This is a cream cow.
Okay.
I've seen those. I love the cream comes out their mouth, right?
Hmm.
Yes. It's been a while, but I've seen those. Those are great.
This one's kind of well,
I used to use that for cereal,
see, this
but
one's kind of older because it's like you can
Yeah,
see all
because
its little.
yeah.
it's kind of modded a
This
little
is
bit.
this one's the oldest one that or the biggest one that I have, but the other
Oh,
ones are like smaller
yeah.
and
Normally
white.
they're smaller.
Yeah,
How
this
do you
one's pretty
clean
big.
that thing? That's
This
the
is like
problem.
this is like a gravy cow.
Yeah.
You don't really actually put anything in them. Um,
See, those are dumb. They make things and then
ow.
you don't even use it for what
Maybe
it's
you
made
use
for.
them. I don't know.
You could.
Um, one of the bigger collections I have is ironstone. Do you guys know
I don't
ironstone?
know what the ironstone is.
So it's a well, it's a
Type
certain
of
type of
China.
dish.
Okay.
China, I guess. It's not China, it's ironstone.
Okay. Like
But they
Corning
have
ware.
like yeah, I mean like Fiesta ware, ironstone. You
Yeah.
know, stuff like
Corning. Yeah.
it's very yeah, it's very like this is the back of one, but
You can microwave it and
no,
put
you
it.
cannot
Oh,
microwave it.
you cannot. Okay.
So they all have all ironstone has a stamp on it
Okay.
that kind of tells like what it is. This one is actually a like a printed one. I have a whole
Gotcha.
set of these ones. They're really pretty.
Nice.
Um, but then stuff like this is also ironstone. You've seen stuff like this
Oh
before.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
That still has the tag on it, girl.
Mhm. I know. Yeah, and then it has its little stamp on it.
Wow.
Oh
I
man.
have a whole do you know I think they're called like silverware cabinets or something like that. I
Like
don't
a
know. I
curio.
have a whole cabinet. It's a vintage cabinet of ironstone.
All of
And
them.
now I don't buy anymore because I have enough.
Because yeah, you're happy
You know those
with what you
pitchers,
have.
like the pitchers in the bowls, the pitchers, the white ones. I have so many of those.
Hmm.
And this is my latest kind of not latest, but this one's the hardest one to find is marmalade jars.
Oh man. And so those are what's the top? Like what's the ceiling top? Is that metal?
Well, it's
It's
the
metal.
jar lid. It's
The
just
jar
really
lid.
rusty.
But it's like milk glass, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it's really, what does this say on the back? It says
Yeah, it's like milk glass. So it's like a
ingredients, sugar, oranges, lemon juice. I don't know.
that's like
But
I'm
what do they
they're
call it? They call
beautiful.
it advertisement crockery or something like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
That's like
Yeah, I've
people
got
that
some
collect
of these.
milk bottles. I've seen a lot of people that collect milk bottles. Marmalade jars are cool. I like that they're like opaque, they're not clear
Yeah.
glass and they have cool
Yeah,
artwork on them.
I do. I mean, I wouldn't say that I like all advertisement crockery. I just like the freaking marmalade jars. I don't know what it is
Yeah.
about them, but they're so cute.
Now, what
I love
era
them.
is that
I only
from?
have
Like
like four of them.
what time period are they from?
I don't know.
Probably like early 20th century, late
It's
19th
not,
century.
there's not a date on here.
I'm guessing that's what it is.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, one thing that I've kind of learned in this episode, which I kind of like, and I had some notes here at the beginning, because it's like, collecting, there's some people that say it kind of borders on hoarding, and I don't know. I mean, I think it may be in the same
It
direction,
could.
but it's not that it could get to that.
When your whole
And,
attic is literally Christmas shit, that's hoarding. That's me.
but I think
When
if
you
you,
have 87 Christmas trees, that's a
that,
problem.
yeah, yeah, I think that's a
I
problem.
know.
And,
I
and
know.
I think if you have a collection and you feel like, someone needs to deal with this after I die. Like it's so important, it needs to keep going. I think that's kind of dangerous. I think it's okay to have a big collection if you're like, you know what, when I die, I die. Like whatever
Bury
happens
it
to
with
it,
me.
yeah, it's fine. Like you're
Bury
not
my
all
marmalade
hung up
jars.
on it.
Some marmalade jars.
But
They're
some
hard to
people,
find.
I haven't.
I
That's
could
right.
go
I
on the
haven't
internet
seen
and
one
buy
in
them.
years.
I
Yeah,
could go on the internet and buy them. That's not the fun part, though.
it's going to the store, going to the
It's
antique
finding it.
mall. Yeah, I mean, southern Pennsylvania around here has some banging antique malls. I mean, they're amazing, and
I love
be,
antique furniture.
it's fun to find stuff. I went through years, especially in the 90s and aughts, where I collected Cold War era propaganda stuff. So I've got
Yeah.
like little red books from Mao. I've got like fallout shelter signs. I almost bought a Geiger counter, like that measures
Oh yeah.
radiation, but it was too expensive. My wife was like, "Do not buy that. Like, it's just gonna sit on a shelf." But like, I'm really into that stuff, but I don't have any illusions that anyone else,
Yeah,
would
but
want it
it just makes you happy.
necessarily.
Now, do you ever like think that you maybe want to start collecting something and then
I used to, but I've changed.
you
When
ever
I
do
was
that?
younger, like after I turned 40, like I'm not a thing guy anymore. I used to like things. Now I'm just sort of like I look at things as like anchors. Like I try to be a minimalist. Like I try to have as few things as possible. Like let me put it this way. Years ago, I was going through stuff and I found like this box and it had like all my childhood stuffed animals in it and stuff, even like Daddy
Mm,
Bear, like my most cherished. I chucked it in the
mm,
trash. Like I
mm.
was just like, I'm not proud or not proud of that, but nowadays, like I find it very easy to throw stuff away. Like I just don't want stuff.
I find it
But
easy to throw stuff away too, but let me tell you, if I come across some shiny brights, I'm buying them, and they're never going in the trash unless they break.
I'm looking up some shiny bright stuff. I'm gonna have to put some pictures of that in the
Yeah,
intro or outro
look
of
the
this
let the
episode.
share the screen. I'll show you right now.
Am I sharing it?
I don't
Wait,
know.
let me say multiple participants can share. Are you on mute?
No?
Okay. So you should be able to share.
Okay. Well, let me go find a good picture of them here.
Okay.
Um, continue.
All right.
Oh,
Other thing I was thinking, there's a store in the mall over here that sells all board games and all collectibles and stuff, and they've got an entire wall, a whole like corner of the store of Funko Pops.
Hmm.
And every time I go in
wow.
there, I just look at it all, and there's like a Funko Pop for like every celebrity character and movie character, and I'm
You
like,
mean like these
like the
guys?
little yes, and it's like what would want people collect those?
Why would you want one
Why
that
would you want
wasn't
all of those?
you or a loved one? I don't know.
Now, is that an actual
Hmm.
Funko Pop?
It's a Funko.
Yeah, I guess it
I
might
mean,
be.
Zeus gave them to us.
But there's like millions of well, I mean, there's so many of them, and I just like walk straight past. I have no interest
And all
in
that.
collecting those things. See,
Yeah,
because you'll see things, other people collect those, and you're like, so what? I'm
yeah.
just going right on
I mean,
past.
I've gotten to the point now for Christmas, especially, especially like it's hard for me to buy things for people because I think now, like, I don't want to get someone something that's like now that they're obligated to put it somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I try to get things that are either like super practical or very small. Like I don't want to get people something that like they have to have shelf space for or whatever. I just feel bad about it. I don't want to contribute to. I mean, here's the thing. Look at all of the storage unit places that have popped up in the last 15 years. You know?
Like, they're just full of collections.
And houses have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and yet people still have storage units that are bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, shiny bright.
You're just
Oh
sharing.
my, whoa, that gold one right there. I know exactly what you mean. I have some of these, Desiree.
Yeah, they come in this box looking thing,
I
and
don't
the
have the
boxes
box,
are
but
decorative.
That is an
that's
old-fashioned box.
beautiful. That is
Yeah,
beautiful.
I have boxes like that, and I use them as decorations. Um,
Wow. Yeah, that one with the stripes on it. I've seen that one
I'm trying to
before.
find. Yeah, like I have a lot. These specific color right here, I have a
They're
lot of
beautiful.
these.
They're
Oh, where'd it
beautiful.
go? But yeah, some of them are like shaped, and they have this like glitters
Yes.
on them. And then these little
Yes.
yep,
Yes, yes,
mm-hmm.
yes, yes.
I've had those,
What?
yeah.
Those are amazing.
Uh-huh.
They're
Yeah, I guess
super
that's the factory.
Christmassy. Look at that lady.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I
No,
think that's
I
like maybe the factory.
no, I know exactly now. I've got some, they have like
I even
that
have de these
glitter
some deers. Yep.
and they're textured like they have a
Mm-hmm.
like the glitter can come off
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
if you rub them.
Yeah, and they're super breakable. Don't drop them.
Yeah, super breakable.
Those
Super
are the ones that
breakable.
the cat always seems to like get one of those.
I was
Yeah.
very afraid that I was going to have a problem
Shiny.
with my cats. Yeah, see, I have like a well,
I meant to tell you last week, I didn't notice it when I was editing it, but last week's episode, like a few minutes in, you can hear your cat like
I know he was pissed about something. I'm trying to find.
we got to give him credit on the end, man.
I know, right?
He's
Pissed
like,
off Grayer. Yeah, here's a good picture of him. But
wow,
honestly, these are hard to find, and if you do find them, they're usually just like singles.
that one, yeah,
And
just I wouldn't, I've never seen those in groups. The ones at the bottom with the indented, I've
mm-hmm.
had a few of those. The ones at the top are beautiful. I've never
I've
seen
never
those
seen
in
those.
real life, but those are
Yeah, I have
awesome.
some of these ones right here, this style right here.
Those
But
are amazing.
Yeah.
um, I've got some finials. Like, come on, I I hate this thing up here.
Shiny bright. So I guess our conclusion is collections are cool, right? It can get a little it can get a little disturbing if you have a collection and then you're kind of like burdening your offspring to be into it as much as you
These.
are. Yes, I've seen those.
I
Yes.
have like quite a few of those
That's
Wow.
type of
actually we had
deals.
one of those on the top of our tree this year. Not
Mhm.
that, not that
And I even
colorful.
have the box.
See, that's bananas when you have the box. Whoa, can you
For
go back to
ornaments,
that
I
last
always save the
picture?
Oh,
box because you got to put it back. It fits like
Go
right
show that
into
last
that box
picture.
that it came
hold
from.
on. I'm getting there.
And I can always go back and grab it from the edit, but I saw something on that page.
I think I might have the same exact one.
Okay. No, that's cool. Okay. Nothing. That's good.
But yeah, so I could buy this for 60 bucks on eBay, but then it's not cool. I
Yeah.
want to find it at Goodwill for like $1.
Yeah. No, it's the finding it part that's great. But again, I think my little thought process from this episode is it's like, yes, it's not the having the collection part, to each their own. But when you're trying to force it onto someone else or have someone else like it as much as you do, like you have to recognize that when you slip out of this mortal coil, you got to let everything go. Like
You're
you
not
got to
gonna know
find
what
a good
happens
home
to it.
for it.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Or you don't have to care or you don't care.
You think
Um,
that's one reason why people be giving stuff away before they die?
maybe. Yeah, because they
Probably
think
because they
that
know they don't want it to go into in the trash.
they don't want it to go in the trash. And again, I'm sure we've all seen things that are like super important to someone, and then like after they die, it's like throw it in the garbage. I've seen that many times, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I feel
again,
like if it was something like, somebody's baseball card collection or like somebody's like my mom's precious angels, those are going in the trash. Okay.
right.
We're not keeping those. But it was like somebody's like, like if I end up with 100,000 shiny bright ornaments, let's just say, or your baseball card collection or a big comic book collection or a vinyl collection. I feel like that stuff you could just sell on eBay or even give it to somebody else who wants that stuff or a museum.
Well, it's like, I mean, not to bring it back to American Pickers, and I know we're probably going to go soon. I'll wrap up my part, and you guys can wrap
I
up.
can't
But
believe Frank died. That's
I
sad.
know, I know. But not to bring it back to them, but I love the thing that they say where that Mike says he's like, I'm not trying to buy the memories, I just want to buy the thing, because people get
Hmm.
attached,
I do.
to certain objects, and they're like, it's like they want to know that it's like taken care
They
of.
inflate the
Mhm.
price because of the memories, and
Right.
so he doesn't want to pay for that.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
it's important to them, but it may not be, um, it's not something that's necessarily important to other people. So it's sort of like it's okay to like something. It's okay to collect it, but you can't place its value over like
Yeah,
people,
it's
So the
non-transferable.
thing about that show is like, I don't want to say, I think it was a cool show. I don't want to say it crossed the line into a little bit exploitative,
Exploitive,
exploiting, exploitive,
ex,
expletive. I don't
ex,
know
exploitive.
because there's two types of hoarders. I don't want to call them hoarders. I don't, but they're not
Yeah,
pickers. They're just junk collectors,
the
let's just say.
collectors.
Collectors. The kind that just collect the shit and put it in barns and then that's it. They don't even ever think about it. And then someone wants to come in, yeah, take it, whatever, it's fine. But it was the hunt for them and they thought it was cool. Whatever, put it back. And then there's the kinds that you see that are having meant struggles with parting with the thing.
Depression, yeah,
Yeah, like, and
OCD,
that's really sad that, because who knows what, memory they have attached to it, but it's a little bit exploitative,
Yeah,
but I think they do a really good job of like, hey, I can tell this is really hard for you. You don't have to sell it to
yeah,
me. It's fine. I
yeah,
they always try to
don't
break
know.
the ice. Just try to find something
Hmm.
that they can buy, and then once they get it going, you know.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean, with any collection, whatever it is, isn't like the best part of it being able to talk to someone about it, like show
Yeah,
them?
that's why I said it wasn't really that fun anymore after my grandma was like, she got herself a new boyfriend and then
Mm,
she like, got older and she was like, oh, I don't got time for this shit no more.
yeah,
I don't know if I care about showing it. Like I said, I just sit down and I like look at the stuff myself and go through like an old shoebox of stuff and just, I mean, to
So,
me it's
okay,
fun.
for example, Mike,
hmm
are you a go, do you like to go through, like, are you a goer througher?
a goer through of
A
stuff.
goer? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I'll go through some stuff
if I go to an antique mall, I want to look at everything,
and I want to touch
and
it.
I look through all the stuff,
Hmm.
whatever. I
Hmm.
mean, I go through it all. And but the thing
Yeah,
is,
hours.
I almost enjoy, to me, when I used to go to antique malls all the time, it was more like going to a museum. Like I just wanted to
Hmm.
see it,
Yeah, you might
learn
buy like
about it.
one thing.
Yeah, I didn't need to own it. I just wanted to
Yeah.
see it.
How much
Hmm.
fun is it when you're
But it
looking
would
for
only
something in your house?
but it would only be
You're looking
fun,
Oh,
for
but
like
it's
one
not.
thing and
I don't want to go through shit in my
you end
house.
up going through all your stuff looking for this one thing, but you have fun going through all your other boxes and seeing
yeah,
all your stuff.
yeah,
Like, oh, this is fun.
So me and Mike go into the antique store. We would have a blast.
yeah.
It's fun because like, look at this thing, look at this.
It's so fun,
Tom
man.
and Mike go to the antique store. Probably Tom's bored.
Yeah.
Tom was like, "What are we doing here?" You
Oh,
know?
I can spend all day at antique
Me
stores,
too.
man.
And they're kind of big. You gotta consider them all.
Yeah,
Sometimes you be getting lost in there. They're huge. So,
man. Now you got me wanting to go. My buddy, who called me, who He's an interesting dude. He goes through periods. He's way into antiques. I learned a lot from him over the years. And he goes through periods in his life where he gets really into something and then he completes it and then he sells it and then he moves on to something else, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
He went through a period, actually I should give him some of these coins. He went through a period where he only wanted to spend money from the 30s. So he he would
Hmm.
like trade people for like he just that's all the money in his wallet and what he spent was this was back in the 90s. But
Wow.
the arbitrariness of it is kind of fun, you
Yeah.
know, is but you got to keep it in check. You know, it's very impractical. I do like what we were saying earlier that I agree, and Tom alluded to this too. I think it's a natural drive that human beings have, but we don't need it anymore from a practical standpoint, but the behavior is still there.
Hmm.
You know, I think that's true personally. But anyway, I do you guys have any other stuff to wrap up? Because I think we're getting close to
What do you think Zeus collects?
oh um
Anything?
I've
I
got
mean
I
he
got like 15 hats.
oh
I got a
yeah.
bunch of hats.
See, I
Do
don't
you
have
do
that.
the thing where you take nails and you make a border out of a room with your hats?
Well, actually, no, I didn't. But I bought like the
Oh.
little rack things to put them on
Mm.
because I had so many. They were just like a big pile of them, so I had to like buy racks to put them
I need
on.
to get something like that
I
for
think
Craig,
I
but
mean I think Zeus has some comic books. Tom probably knows better than I do, but I don't know that he collects anything per se.
He has a
I
lot of
don't know.
DVDs
Oh,
in
okay.
his house. I know that.
I know Jack likes, you know, horror film type stuff. I don't know if he has a
mm.
collection, but he probably does, I would assume. Of either I know he has some posters from his background. He
I
probably
still
has
have
DVDs.
VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Do they
Yeah,
even
my
does the
wife
VCR even
transferred
hook
them.
up to a TV anymore?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
that's the challenge.
yeah,
Can you watch
because
them?
yeah, it's kind of hard, but
You need
I
like
mean,
a adapter to get it to work.
actually I just got rid of one like a few weeks ago. It was in the basement here. I dug it out and it just doesn't work. And the thing with VHS tapes is they just die after like 15, 20
Yeah,
years
I
if they
haven't
sit on
checked
the
them in a
shelf.
long
Yeah.
time. They might not even be
They
watchable.
do? They just die? They don't like they
They just
fade or
die.
They
something?
corrode, you know, and
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
you're supposed
Is
to
that when you get
fast.
little spots on the when you're
Well,
watching? It's like
I
I
used
just
to
don't.
I interned at a TV station a long time ago, long time ago when I was in college, and they had the 1 inch broadcast tape, you know, that they
Hmm.
would use. And one of the jobs I had was to you would just go through the archives and you had to
Pencil
fast forward
erasers.
it and then rewind it. They called it like fluffing the tape,
oh,
Mm.
really?
which
Okay.
is kind of anyway, you would like fast forward it all the way to the end and then rewind it and put it back. And you're supposed to do that like every year because
Oh,
you weren't
Well, I haven't been doing that.
if it was like sitting still, it would just like degrade. Like
onto
you had
itself.
to,
That's weird.
yeah, you'd have to like keep it moving
Uh,
a little
I
bit.
think vinyl records, like, there's a certain way to store them.
Isn't
They're
it
not supposed to
vertical?
lay flat, I
Yeah,
think.
you're not supposed to lay flat. It's supposed to
Yeah,
be
aren't they supposed to
vertical.
go? Hmm. My father-in-law collects old like Macs, like computers, like that
Oh,
really
really?
like old
Wow.
computer shit.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
some interesting stuff. Like people that collect old vintage computers and gaming systems
Yeah,
and
but the thing
things.
about him is like he can fix it. Like he can make it work. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that is cool. So he needs to collect them so he has stuff to work on.
Yeah. But then what do you do with them after? Because nobody needs to buy that. No one's buying that. They just have them.
Man. I will say this. I'm not negative about collections. I
And
totally
BMWs, he collects those.
well, that's good. And
But he doesn't fix them up. They just sit there.
I'm not judgmental about it. I'm sorry if it sounded like we were during this episode. I tell you one thing. When I find someone or someone that has a collection or a store or antique mall, and there's a collection of something that I don't know about, it is incredibly educational. I mean, I do
Mhm.
appreciate people that have like umbrella sleeve collections or what. I mean,
I don't
like
know. I
I'm
don't know
not
if I appreciate
interested
the
in
pizza
that.
box guy.
But if you were interested in it, it's cool to know that there's someone out there that's, you know, keeping it alive, I guess. I don't know. That is kind of nice. So,
Yeah.
well, I think it's getting to be about that time. Unless you guys have any more to, is it
I
about that
collect
time?
money. I collect money, so I'm gonna need some.
Yeah, I don't collect
Thanks.
money well enough.
Well, I collect it, then I give it away to these things we call stores.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or online
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah. Or Amazon. Just Amazon.
Isn't that, yeah,
And the
Amazon's
bank.
amazing.
And Amazon.
And
Hmm.
children.
And
All right.
children. And Xbox. That thing.
Well, unless you guys have anything else, I don't want to cut you off. Unless you guys, do you have
No, no,
anything else to throw in here?
That's it.
no.
I think it was a
Collect
pretty
what you
fun
like.
episode. I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But well, it's
Collect
gonna.
what you like, and just like religion, don't push it on anyone else.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Ending
Yep.
words. Final thoughts.
All right.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.